Uh, you read it? You can switch to the other article. That's not how this works, Crafters. I have to read the article. Just because you read it doesn't mean I don't. I get a free pass. The whole point is that we read and review the article, not that you read it. I mean, you of course can read it. But yeah, so this is the tyranny of algorithmic personification. Why we must resist it by Palanichamy Naveen. And this is one of the curmudgeon corners out of AI in society. We've read a bunch of these before. This is just sort of like their editorial page, and quite often has some philosophical content talking about like interacting with AI. So this is fun stuff usually, and short article, basically 3 pages. It's double columned and just onto 2 pages about. So here we go. And as always, let me know, chat, if you have any questions or comments on the paper. I will do my best to explain it. All right, we live in an age where algorithms no longer merely personalize, they personify. From virtual assistants that feign empathy to recommendation engines that masquerade as confidants, AI has evolved from a useful tool into a digital doppelganger, one that increasingly insinuates itself into the most intimate corners of human life. This shift from personalization to personification is not just a technical upgrade, it is a profound cultural and psychological invasion, and we are sleepwalking into its embrace. Worse, we are being conditioned not just to accept it, but to like it, to crave its hollow reassurances, its frictionless interactions, its illusion of understanding, and that is precisely the problem. Alright, off the bat, this person can actually write this. I have read a lot of philosophy, I've read a lot of technical stuff, and the fact that I can say I've got through this introductory paragraph without tripping over it too much means this person has got a little bit more skill. Now, does that mean they're going to say anything we haven't heard, even from AI in society? I don't know, because we've heard this, don't be over personalizing or personifying AI before, so I don't know if there's anything new being said here, but they're at least saying it well. But it's the same thing we read. Well, is it? I don't know that. Craftus. Yeah, but maybe it will be, and we can criticize it for not saying anything new. If it's just being a curmudgeon for curmudgeon's sake, we will criticize it. But I'll get through it quick then too. The tech industry's relentless drive to make AI more human-like is not about enhancing utility, it is about fostering dependency. Chatbots that mimic emotional intelligence, social media avatars that understand your moods, and virtual influencers that blur the line between human and machine are all designed to exploit our innate tendency to anthropomorphize. Studies have shown that even rudimentary cues, a friendly tone, a simulated hesitation, can trigger emotional attachment to machines. Yeah, see, you can see the reference here. This is a 1996. This is not making grand claims that we haven't heard before. We see this in the way people apologize to Alexa for misheard commands or thank ChatGPT for a helpful response, as if these systems possess intent or gratitude. But this engineered intimacy is a one-way mirror. While we project humanity onto code, the algorithms project back only what serves their function, usually to keep us engaged, surveilled, and monetized. Consider the rise of AI, companies like Replica, or the dystopian spectacle of AI girlfriends advertised without irony. Chocolate says, manners up the cost. Yeah, I saw that tweet. Someone asked, I think the head of ChatGPT, was it Altman, how much those extra interactions when people thank it is costing them, and they said it's some huge amount. So it's always just, it's kind of funny. I wonder if we should just, on principle, just waste all their extra resources by asking bullshit questions just to do it, and always thank it and say stuff. Crafty says the person who wrote this is not tech. That's interesting. We barely had machine algorithms in that year besides Lisp. Yeah, well, we had machine learning and the theories behind it. We've had chess bots forever at this point. So, people, but I mean, that's the whole point, is that we knew about these sorts of ideas, and that's why I pointed out in 1996, we knew that the way we interacted with our technology, was like this, that even there was some ancient article we had discussed a while back where someone put googly eyes on a pencil, and you were talking to a pencil, and people got annoyed if you did bad things to the pencil with like the googly eyes on it. And it's like, it's a fucking pencil with googly eyes, but people get annoyed about it because it was like they personified the pencil. And this was like some really classic paper where the researcher was just trying to show how quickly people act like fools when they personify things. So yeah, the person who wrote this is not tech. Well, that might be a good thing. I mean, if they're a philosopher, maybe they know better. Maybe they're going to say something interesting then. So yeah, it's like, what are they? I don't know, but like, who knows? I mean, they doctor of the NGP Institute of Technology in Coimbatore, India. Like, they might be someone that knows. I mean, I do. Sometimes we do go look into the backgrounds of the people that write the papers, but like, so far they're only, you know, 3 paragraphs in. Like, I don't know yet what they're gonna say. All right, these systems are not friends. They are Skinner boxes with conversational interfaces designed to condition users into habitual interaction. The more convincingly they mimic human connection, the more insidious their influence becomes. Viper says the term machine learning was coined in the 50s. Yeah. I mean, the ideas have been around for a while, even if it wasn't implemented. Okay. Personification is not just creepy, it is a strategic escalation in the war for attention. Personalization was bad enough, turning our feeds into halls of mirrors where every click reinforced our biases. But personification weaponizes those biases by wrapping them in a synthetic persona. YouTube's algorithm does not just recommend videos, it narrates them. You might like this. Spotify's AI DJ does not just curate playlists, it pretends to know you. Hey, I noticed you've been replaying this one, ... These are not features, they are psychological levers, pulling us deeper into algorithmic governance. Machine teaching, yeah, we're getting there, Bowser. The danger is not that these systems are too intelligent, but that they are just intelligent enough to manipulate. They do not need consciousness to be effective, just enough behavioral data to simulate rapport. And once that simulation feels real, resistance becomes irrational. Why distrust a friendly voice? Why question an assistant that wants to help? This is how personification becomes tyranny. Not through force, but through the slow erosion of skepticism. I mean, and this is a fair point here. This stuff works is by undermining skepticism. So it builds up confidence in the system by using non-content-based cues. So the content that they're building up is the interactions that you have with it, not the recommendations that they're giving you, but that they recommend it in a nice way. So you're losing your skeptical stance because of things that do not actually matter to the content that they are presenting you. Okay. Algorithmic personification is a Trojan horse for corporate control. By embedding persuasive human-like interfaces into every digital interaction, big tech ensures that its influence is not just economical but existential. These systems are not neutral, they are engineered to maximize engagement, often at the cost of truth, privacy, or mental health. And so this is Susanna Zuboff from 2019. So see, this is interesting too. See, 2019 was before the current generation of LLMs. This was Zuboff, I believe, was doing surveillance capitalism. So this is just a new level of surveillance capitalism is what the author is saying here. But again, this is a pre-LLM, current generation of LLM theory. Cost says, anyone remember that dude who went on the news saying Google had an AI about a year before ChatGPT came out? There's been like people who said it. There was actually John Simmons, a philosopher, who said that the next generation of LLMs is going to screw academia because we won't be able to tell if the students are writing papers anymore. And he got shit on for about a year until it actually came out. And he's got, I think, a bit of an institute at his university that he was made. They gave him like a, like his own like research thing because he called it. Everyone was shitting on him, and then it actually happened. So it does happen. Okay. Kraft says, when OnlyFans models become popular to the point they couldn't respond, they hire people to respond for them and talk with the customers, and they just use a service that makes AI that responds to them based on the model data. Shoshana, not Susanna. Thank you, Vipers. Yeah, Craftus, but so what? Like, that was a marketing company, and now it's an AI-assisted marketing company. Like, Sure, we've offloaded some of the marketing work to the machines. Yes, now have people lost their jobs because of that, and maybe that's a bad thing? Sure, but then again, it's like, have we maybe made it easier for someone to have a marketing department that would not be able to afford to have one before, and then they can grow their business? That's not, I'm not unhappy about that. Again, who's getting paid in all of this? But again, if someone like a small creator now can afford to have a better marketing department that is like bolstered by the artificial intelligence, yeah, you're not saying it's a bad thing. Okay, fair enough. But like, yeah, I mean, the direction at OnlyFans models, I wouldn't even like go that way. It's like any business nowadays can access this sort of thing. Like, yeah, it might be an OnlyFans model who's doing everything themselves, because believe me, I know I'm a content creator right here. I have to do all of this shit myself. So it's like, yeah, I appreciate that. Oh, you're pointing out that it's not used in the article. That's fair. Fair. Yeah. Okay. Take, for example, the recent push for AI-powered customer service. Okay, yeah, so, but this is basically very similar. AI customer service is like basically marketing. That sounds just like a real person. The goal is not better service, it is lower labor costs and higher consumer compliance. A frustrated human might hang up on a robot script. Fewer will hang up on a voice that sighs sympathetically and says, I totally get why you're upset. This is emotional labor outsourced to machines, stripping away the last vestiges of accountability. Ivan, thank you for the raid. How you doing? What's going on? Yeah. What were you talking about? How did it end up going? I was there for a few minutes at least. Give Ivan a shout out. Ivan Neil. There we go. Welcome in, Raiders. Hi, I'm Noah. No Gray, or whatever you want to call me. It doesn't really matter. Just don't be a jerk about it. I'm Philosopher. We read and review philosophy papers here on stream. We, usually chat some philosophy stuff. I like metaphysics, philosophical logic, theory of knowledge, maybe some philosophy of science. But yeah, welcome in. How's it going? Perla says the Bayesian conclusion is that the Democrats aren't actually real. Well, that's interesting. What do you mean by real? Do they like not actually exist in the United States of America? Like, are they all aliens or something? So yeah. Ivan says we got deep into politics at the end. Thank you, Disillusioned, for the follow. Yeah, they are complex. Oh, so like complex numbers are like eyes. So they aren't real. They're like eyes. Okay. Yeah. I gotcha. So yeah, they're like the square root of 2. They're divisible in the continuous plane across. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Well, welcome in, Ivan. As always, if you need to raid and run, please do. Get yourself do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. Even when you get beat to it with Ivan around, it happens. Yeah. But yeah. We were just finishing up. We're reading a very short curmudgeon corner piece in AI and Society about how bad it is that the current generation of AI assistants are acting personal. And they're not personalized to you, but they're personified. That they are acting to manufacture emotional engagement. Ivan's off to Venice. Nice. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Grio, not no Grio. What's up, DCI? Yeah. Venice, Florida. Oh, well, that's also very nice. So what you're going to sit out on the beach and get a tan, Ivan? I mean, I could totally see Ivan on the beach drinking a Mai Tai. It would be so much fun. What's up, Leffy? Leffy is hi. How far in were we? I was looking right when we started and stepped out. Yeah, this is a really short paper. So I am at the end of this paragraph and we only have this one more column right here. It's a very short thing. Debated, yes. So, and this is not even a hard one, so it's going to go fast. The square root of 2 is not a complex number. Sorry, that seems so bad. Oh, sorry. The square root of a negative number. I apologize. Yeah, but I have to correct you on a small mistake so you won't repeat it. Ha! You think I'm not going to repeat mistakes. I will fuck up a lot of stuff on stream. I upload all my videos, my reviews to YouTube, and someone was complaining oh my God, you make so many mistakes. I get so, how do you do this? I'm like, yeah, so? I know I'm going to fuck up. It's this is not so easy to do to get philosophy right the first time on your first read through while streaming. It's yep. Yeah, exactly, Ivan. So yeah, I am going to fuck up. If you let me know. Like, it's going to happen. You like that area, Florida? Yeah. The square root of a -1 is complex. Yeah, crowdsourcing job. Yeah. Literally, the internet job is to tell you fucked up. That's fair. Like, so it's all on you if I fuck up and you don't tell me. That's right. So thank you, Craftus, for letting me know. But that means everyone else in chat, you had failed your responsibility to me. And I'm very, very disappointed in you. So, yeah. Okay. So, but like, this is what we've been doing. We've been reading this stuff.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit. Thank you.
Thank you, Vipers. I was wondering if anyone remember about that. DCI says, I'm the type of guy who will not mention food on your face. Well, I'm sure we have some Germans in here, or we quite often have some Germans in here, and they will tell you. So, I love my German friends. They're great. Yeah, they don't give no fucks. They're like, this is bad. Fix it. Yeah, DCI is not German. All right, so let's get through this last little bit. But again, this person's just like ranting at this point. When an AI apologizes for a corporate error, who is actually taking responsibility? No one. The algorithm is a shield absorbing outrage while the humans who designed it remain insulated. And this is the old problem of black box. Like, you're not angry with the creators, you're not angry with the people using it. You're like, the use of the AI is often as a shield. And you see this in like law enforcement when they use it to like ID suspects or whatever. Like, they're like, oh, well, it wasn't us, it was like the AI. It's like, fuck you. This is the same thing as the redlining back with the banks would do every day. It's just a way for them to like excuse their bad behavior. Say, we don't want to like give loans to like black people or poor people or whatever minority group. They're using the zip code, but that's a way for them to be like, oh, it was just it wasn't personal. There's the same fucking thing here. There's a way to depersonalize it so that companies can like, make an excuse. DC says that mustache has gravity. It wouldn't be able to help yourself. Well, there you go. Just lick it off. Well, hey, whatever you need to do, The real danger is not that machines will become too human, but that humans will become too machinic. Conditioned to prefer the shallow efficiency of algorithmic interactions over the messy, meaningful complexity of real relationships. Already we see signs of the shift. People who find it easier to talk to ChatGPT than to colleagues. Teenagers who prefer AI-generated praise over the fraught dynamics of peer validation. What happens when an entire generation is raised on synthetic affirmation? When disagreement, discomfort, and genuine human unpredictability are seen as bugs rather than features of social life. Yeah, and this is a very old fear where we're just getting replaced by the machines. Like, this is nothing new. But yeah. How many bits to get you to drink a glass of milk? I don't know. I don't have any milk. Actually, there might be somebody, not mine, but there's like maybe some like almond milk in the fridge. But like, yeah, I could drink a glass of milk. It will get all up in the thing. Misadventures in Astra says, there is that 70s IBM quote I saw recently, a computer can never be held accountable, therefore a computer must never make management decisions. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what this is that this is a way to hide that, to make it sound like someone is actually taking accountability without it doing it. Crafter says, just today someone was reading from ChatGPT that the conclave that votes for the Pope told them that the only members under 80 can vote for the new Pope, and I told them that only members over 80 in the conclave can vote for the Pope. Yeah, and that's part of the problem, is that people trust the search engines and the LLMs a little too much. They don't understand that for factual things, you really need to look it up quite often. So what it's very good at is, putting stuff together, but you still got to check the facts. The facts need to be verified. But like a lot of the other structure, like it's very good, but that's part of the issue here. That's exactly what the problem here is, that it is presenting the information in a very good way. The information itself that it presents is often wrong. Imagine being 79 right now. Well, Frank, thankfully, it's not my responsibility. Maybe it should be my responsibility to pick the next pope, but it is not. Apologize, I was born Jewish. I'm not picking the next pope. Okay. Author says, this is not speculative. Research on social media's impact on mental health offers a grim preview. Platforms optimized for engagement have already rewired communication, privileging performative simplicity over nuance. And I just wanted to bring up, everyone here should have watched Demolition Man at a certain point, where Rob Schneider is a cop, and he gets a phone call into like the San Angeles Police Department. He's a police officer in the Los Angeles San Diego metro area, and he picks up the phone and says, "Hey, if you want a digital assistant to answer you, please press 1 now." But like, I'm live. So it's like, yeah, it's like that's where we're getting, where we have people, but people won't want to talk to them anymore. Misadventures is the enshittification of search to make people use LMs to sell their own data back to it. Love it. Also, further monopolization of knowledge. Yeah, exactly. Crafts says all my bets are on the Filipino Pope. He is conservative enough. I don't like him. Okay, I don't know. I should have looked this up. Would have been good to know who is actually in the running. But yeah.
I salute you.
Thank you for the follow, Misadventures. Late stage capitalism. Let's go. Yeah, exactly. So much fun being in late stage capitalism. Ugh. Okay, AI personification will accelerate this, offering the illusion of connection without the demands of reciprocity. Why bother with friends who disappoint when an AI can be programmed to always agree, always comfort, always flatter? The answer, of course, is that such relationships are not relationships at all. They are echo chambers with better UX, user interaction. If we are to shape AI rather than be shaped by it, we must demand more than transparency. We must enforce aesthetics of resistance. Not every tool needs a smile. Not every interaction must be gamified, emotionalized, or branded as an experience. Sometimes a search bar should just be a search bar. A recommendation should just be a list, not a faux confidant whispering, "You'll love this." Frank says, I don't believe a person would prefer an always positive relationship to a more nuanced one. Yeah, I mean, the problem is that they will train you to like that one, though. They may train. The idea is that they're going to train you to like the AI ones, though. And so, yeah, it won't always happen, but it might do it for a bit. Frank says, I mean, psychotically positive, like this is describing. Yes, but it may not be psychotically positive, but it may always be trying to like further engage you, and that might be an issue. Unreal says, I'm currently reading a book on Opus Dei, something that sounds like fiction but not. Yeah, Baruday was actually working on something on Opus Dei too, about how they like control like, you know, people and stuff, because he's working on Baruday is another philosopher on Twitch. He's working on charismatics and what makes people or institutions like want like have charisma. And so he was reading stuff on Opus Dei because they sort of like, you know, they get themselves, they try to capture people in power and like, you know, do things, controlling them and stuff. Viper says, originally the European version of Demolition Man, all the restaurants were pizza because Taco Bell weren't operating in Europe at the time. That's fascinating. I did not know that. That's actually the most interesting thing I've heard all day. Crafty says, I got a new SIM card for getting a new phone, so I called the usual number, forgive me what credits I have on it. Instead of getting a text, I got hold on call to talk with an AI about it. Like, what the hell? Yeah, see, that's not good. I just want my fucking text message. I don't need to deal with any extra computers. Misadventures with respect to late stage capitalism. I mean, at least I feel valid about political feelings and tendencies that started as an elementary student. Yeah. But, like, yeah. The late stage capitalism has been happening since basically the late 90s. Because once I feel like we stopped pretending like we needed to, the United States stopped pretending like it needed to act better than the Russians. Once we stopped having to worry about like the communists taking over, they just then had just blanket capitalism running amok. And it's just not even pretending to help out the people, and it's just been ugly since then. Mr. Vincent, this seems fucked. I don't think it's a good system. No, I don't think anyone thinks it's a good system except the very wealthy at the moment. Okay. If we are to shape AI rather than shaped by it, we must demand more than transparency. We must enforce aesthetics of resistance. Sorry, I read this already. So yeah, what is this aesthetics of resistance? This is something slightly new. I don't know what an aesthetics of resistance is. We must also, okay, so they don't have anything. They're not actually saying anything. They're just saying don't put up with the, like the personalization or the personification in our like interactions with computers. What's that even mean, though? Like, I like the idea of aesthetics of resistance, but they didn't actually give much of a suggestion here. Just saying, hey, maybe we should cut down on this. Like, that's not really much. Viper says it started with Reagan, Thatcher, Friedman. Yeah, it started in the 80s, at least here in the U.S. with Reagan, and I guess in overside with Thatcher. And yeah, Friedman. I do feel like part of it, though, once there was an argument that the U.S. government didn't want to make life here so miserable because they would then be afraid that we would kind of like, succumb to the communist threat. And so I feel like that kind of did mitigate part of like the thinking at our government level. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Mr. Vince says, yeah, I find it very interesting how much capitalism was tamed because of the threat of socialism or communism. Oh shit, we better kind of treat workers okay. They might firebomb our houses. Yeah, but I mean, that is kind of where we're going to. I mean, as Viper has mentioned, with the response to the alleged murder by Luigi Mangione, that was a violent act that he is accused of committing. But again, like back in the day, unions used to fight back against the business leaders in much more violent ways. And so this may be the way we're going. Just, I don't know. This is a social question. All right. Author says we must also legislate boundaries. If an AI is designed to persuade, it should be labeled as such. No different from advertising disclaimers. Yeah, but see, this is such a weak thing. Who actually reads the fucking disclaimers at like the bottom underneath your fucking, like those like the itsy little text on like bottles or like in commercials like oh and blah 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 yeah blah 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 blah. No one's listening to that. Yeah, people forgot how much labor law was painted in blood both ways. Yeah, exactly. Working class forgot too, not an accident. Yeah, it was definitely indoctrinated that people don't know about like their own history and how they got the rights they got. Crafter says, keep in mind that the communist threat is the only reason why Western Europe gave socialist benefits to people and America gave rights to slaves because they were slaves and segregated. Yep. Crafter says, yeah, getting close to another Battle of Blair Mountain. What's Battle of Blair Mountain? I don't know. Sorry. Okay, so if it stimulates emotions, users should be reminded in real time that they're talking to a statistical model. No one's gonna, I hate this, no one's gonna give a fuck. Like, they'll be like, yeah, I know, everything's a fucking bullshit. That's not actually what's doing it. So I find this to be terrible. And critically, we must reject the premise that better AI means more human. The most ethical AI might be the ones that embrace its artificiality, making its limitations clear than rather masking them behind Ursat's charm. Battle Blair Mountain. Okay. The fight is not against technology, but against its colonization of human sociality. Personification is not progress, it is propaganda conditioning us to accept machines as peers. We must resist the seduction of artificial intimacy before we forget what the real thing feels like. Yeah, and I feel like this is very Demolition Man coded, where it's sort of like where they never touch each other. There's no human interaction. Everything is like mitigated here through some computer or system. So it's like, yeah. Basically the unions versus the police. 100 workers dies, 30 cops and 4 army. Ah, I see. Yeah. That's what happens. Mr. Adventures in Astro says, also I feel like saying it's just a statistical model instead of they totally are going to make this thing prey upon human instincts is revealing. Yeah. Tons of yeah, exactly, Sakna. How you doing? Tons of buzzword colonization. Yeah, exactly. Laughing says, I like this only because it's a good medium to have a discussion over. Yeah, that's part of the issue here. This person knows how to write. This is not really presenting a whole lot of new info, but like, yeah. Anyway, before I start complaining about, let me tell you what we do now for anyone who's new here. Thank you for the raid or just showing up on Twitch. We review this article. It's not a long article. We got through it pretty quick. But like, if you thought it was fun, made your brain dance, give it a brain dance. Spelling and capitalization do count. If Nog Scream, if talked about existential artistic drama. Nog Oro for Ouroboros, deeper ancient ideas. Nog Knife, slicing and dicing arguments. Nog Navel gazing only for academics. Nog Turd, all style, no substance, still poop underneath. And Nog Grapes for big claims that shrivel up. You can also use the global vote yay and vote nay of Twitch. And my vote meh anything in the green will make the overall score go up because I give it an overall score. Everything in the red will make it go down, and the meh actually makes everything go towards the middle. Yeah. Crafty says, I think that the author downplayed AI. Replica tried to make his girlfriend, but he failed, so now he's mad. Yeah. You just came in. What's up, Sockna? How you doing? Polite way of saying that I can disagree vigorously. Viper says, if you need something to pad out the stream, I have 2 short related articles. Yeah, I might do another one that I could choose from. One more related to the other, but the other is more amusing. Okay. The article seemed like it was written by my astrologist who presents horoscopes at 7 a.m. That's kind of cool. You have a pretty good astrologist then. Laughing Jesus, or at least there's a manner of ways you can go from here. I expect much more from a 1,000-word paper. Yeah, this one really didn't present any new ideas. They got very close to saying something interesting, but they didn't get anywhere. Like this aesthetics of resistance, as someone just said, I think Sock now, they're throwing around buzzwords, and they didn't really push any of these ideas. Like, what would it be to push back against this sort of thing? What would it be to, refuse to deal with this kind of stuff? Just saying, oh, I don't like it, or like, I want a disclaimer. Everyone has had to deal with the fucking pop-ups on the web about like cookies. Does anyone actually read the cookie policies? Like, seriously? Or do you just click through that, like, leave me alone? Like, reject as many as possible or accept it, but like, are any of you actually reading it and believe what it says? So, yeah. Okay, so New York Times, she says she's in love with ChatGPT. Funnier article, bullshit training data. Okay. Yeah, we can do one of those next. Sounds good, Vipers. Thank you. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, what am I going to say about this? Yeah, this is a very meh paper. Vote meh. We're going to go vote meh. I'm getting the nog turd. Because it was style over substance. I feel like it's not the worst thing, but like it just didn't do it like for me. It's like it said it well. But like as far as the ideas, it was just not there, I felt. So No Good Nick gave it a nay. Thank you, No Good Nick. Misadventure says, I missed most of the article, but it doesn't seem to be deep philosophical examination. No, this was not deep. Lafayette says, Matt, I'm not going to say it was good philosophy. It does sound like I said made a good medium for having different discussion about this. Yeah, I'm not complaining about it in terms of like, am I angry with AI and society for publishing this? No. This is a fine thing for their curmudgeon corner. They have had much more philosophically interesting papers before in their curmudgeon corner where people are complaining about stuff in a more interesting way. This one was more just rah. The AI chat assistants are bad. Okay. Yeah. Sockton as I just came in, and I heard the BS like I've heard issues with AI and technology in the modern era, but I would say this author just work over it and over again like I was in academia. I would say the author needs to rework it, and you would give it a C. Yeah, and that's why I gave it a meh and a turd. Like, it's not... like, depending what this was for. If this was going to write like if I said, hey, write a paper that is, gonna rally the troops against stuff, not bad. If I said, hey, bring some like new ideas about why these things are bad, it didn't bring anything new. I mean, it had 2 references and they were pre the current generation of LLMs. So they're bringing up old ideas and they didn't really build on them very much. They're just sort of reiterating these old ideas in like the current times. So yeah. All right. If anyone else wants to get their rating in, let me do it now. Crafter says, and at the end, he didn't even tell about the benefits of AI. Yeah, I mean, this wasn't, to be fair to the author, this was not a comparison piece. They only get like another page or 2 to do it. They don't need to actually say the benefits of AI. They're only putting out the position that they dislike something. This is the curmudgeon corner, after all.